Well, on October 7th, the Western media did not show the losses that the Israeli military took at the hands of Hamas and other factions in Gaza. They focused exclusively on civilians being kidnapped and then began with not just the killings that took place of civilians on October 7th, which were real and documented, but fabricating atrocities about beheaded babies and babies burned in ovens and so on in order to create leverage and political space for Israel to totally destroy Gaza. The crime needed to be bigger than it even was for Israel to carry out genocide. Now we see very little about Gaza. Israel is bombing the north of Gaza very hard. They just killed the head of UNRWA, the man in charge of distributing food and aid. They've killed hundreds in the past few days in Jabalia refugee camp, and Western media is not covering this at all. They're focused on Israel's attack on Lebanon. That's the news story. I think the biggest problem with Western media is more in what they don't show than in what they do show. The U.S. is the major obstacle to peace in Israel-Palestine. It has played the role of Israel's lawyer all along, no matter who's in government. We're learning now that Secretary of State Tony Blinken authorized attacks on humanitarian aid convoys after lying about Israel blocking aid. This is a figure who's been very close to the Israel lobby. The biggest problem in Washington on this issue is the role of the Israel lobby and the billionaires who support Israel in financing elections. And in the United States, unlike so many other countries, there's no limit on what anyone can donate to a candidate. We had two very minor politicians in the US who were members of Congress, the lower house, who were outspoken on Palestine, on calling for a ceasefire, suspending arms to Israel, Cori Bush and Jamal Bowman. The Israel lobby, AIPAC, spent $20 million to defeat them. That's more than gets spent in entire elections in many countries around the world. So there's no possibility of change in Washington at this point. The only change can come on the world stage. And the only way we'll see change is if Israel lobby organizations like AIPAC have to be registered as foreign agents and report their activities, and we can actually hold them legally accountable for compromising American national security. The de facto government of Yemen, the Houthis, are engaged in an intervention that the United Nations should have done to stop weapons to Israel, to stop this crime from taking place, but they're too weak to stop it. Iran has threatened to do the same, but has not acted. And it's because of the failure of international institutions, which have been created by the West and set up to fail, that we're seeing this war expand into what I think could be a 20-year war.